So what happens if you combine a Telecaster, a Jazzmaster, and a Les Paul into one guitar? Well, turns out something pretty cool. Welcome back to the channel. As you guys know, I love to bring you interesting instruments that kind of fly under the radar, that aren't quite household names, and such is the case today. We've got a really interesting guitar. This one is from PJD. It's got strong Tele vibes on the neck and the bridge, kind of Jazzmaster vibes on the body, and, you know, humbucker P90 combination. Very, very cool and interesting guitar. So let's jump in and find out what this thing is all about. Right, so what exactly is this model and what makes it stand out in a sea of guitars? Well, as I mentioned, it's from PJD, and this model is the St. John. Now with PJD, they sort of have three different tiers of instruments. I'll put it on the screen if I get the graphic here. But anyway, yeah, this one is the standard, which is kind of like the base model. Now, one of the things I noticed about this guitar when I picked it up, having played like hundreds of instruments over the years, this neck, it's quarter sawn, roasted maple, but it has the straightest grain I've seen on any guitar ever. There's been some Shijis that come very, very close to this with like wicked straight grain, but this takes the cake. Like I could put a ruler on the grain. It's just wild. Hopefully it'll show up on camera, but I've never seen grain so straight on a maple neck in my life. That's just something, as you know, somebody who sees a lot of guitars and plays a lot of guitars, I noticed right away. I'm like, man, that neck has straight grain, which means it's going to be like incredibly strong. So yeah, roasted maple, fantastic. Straight grain, that's a bonus and something I noticed. Tuning machines are a vintage affair. So that means the string ends go into the tuning machines themselves. That's really nice, love that. The nut is cut exquisitely. Fretwork is, again, sublime. There's not too many guitars where I can zoom so far in and see no tooling marks. So beautiful fretwork, awesome neck for sure. Now moving on to the body, well, I could pretty much talk about every feature because it's just such an unusual and unique guitar. Even the way the neck is, you know, put on, it's put on with like hex screws. Really interesting. I mean, it's going to be crazy strong. It's got sort of that open pore finish that you can feel the grain through. Ash body, super light, I gotta say. It is obviously chambered as well. Humbucker, P90, interesting pickguard shape. Check out the humbucker. Look at the ring on that. They just used like pickguard ring. You know, something that I would never think of doing, but just adds like a pretty cool vibe to the guitar. And other than that, it's just a three-way switch, humbucker, P90, super lightweight. I think if there's something I would like to see changed is the string ferrules aren't flush. That's something I always look for. Not a big deal, but I noticed it. While I'm talking about that though, look at the cavity cover. It's wood. Hopefully that'll show up on camera there. Talk about a nice touch, hey? Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So yeah, that's kind of like a rough walkthrough of this very cool guitar. Let's plug it in and listen to some tones and see what this thing sounds like. All right, so let's kick things off with the P90, then we'll go through each one of the pickup selections, and we'll start off clean and then add some dirt. Here we go. Let's find out what this guitar sounds like. Yeah, really balanced on that pickup. Let's try both together, see what that sounds like. Yeah, some nice sparkle in that middle position with the P90, and the humbucker sounds really great. Let's go to the bridge. Let's see if we can kind of approximate a little bit of a telly style, telly tone here. Yeah, again, great sparkle on that. Lots of, you know, string to string definition. So clean, yeah, these pickups, nothing's too, you know, overpowering or overwound. They sound great clean. Let's add a little dirt. Right, now that we've heard a few tones in isolation, I'm going to jam over a backing track. Link to the track, as always, is in the video description below. It's time for the 1 minute solo. Right, so here are my final thoughts on the PJD St. John. Now, I did pull off the back cavity cover here. It fits so tight, I had to actually work to get it out. Like, they did a really good job matching the wood there. As you can see, copper foil shielding, full-size pots, of course. Yeah, anyway, all high-end stuff. Really, really nice. Now, in terms of the weight, the playability, the balance, all that kind of stuff. 7.3 pounds for this one. Ash body, as I mentioned, nice to see that. I think Fender's said they're no longer going to be putting ash on guitars, so nice to see that. Beautiful grain, and of course there's a bunch of different finishes if you want like surf green or Daphne blue or something like that, but the black and tort is a nice finish as well. Neck is, as I mentioned, sublime to play on, like those fret ends. Super nice. Yeah, anyway, and just kind of like a unique amalgamation of different designs that I think really works into something unique. So pickups sound great, and yeah, as I mentioned, construction, zero worries on this guitar. It's really, really nice, and the fact that they are handmade in the UK, as I mentioned, this is the standard version, and yeah, you know, I don't feel like I would be missing out if I bought the standard and didn't get, you know, the Elite or some of the other ones. So yeah, just a beautiful instrument, unique, sounds great, a ton of fun to play just because, you know, it's hard to pigeonhole this. What is it? Is it a Telemaster? Is it a Jazzcaster? You know, what is it? I like that about instruments. When you pick it up and you're like, well, you can't really put it in a box, so you just kind of like explore the instrument and find out what it's all about. And I love doing that. So yeah, very, very interesting guitar. I'll link to it in the video description below for full specs and all that kind of stuff. Other than that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, be sure to do so. And yeah, have yourself a great week. Enjoy.